I work in every major industry, from technology with companies like Microsoft, and I now work with Cisco. I work in consumer brands. I work with many different physicians and lawyers, and I actually work with members of the media. I've coached people like Katie Couric, and I've also worked with some of the major media outlets. And I wanted you to know that from my perspective, so you understand that what I bring today is actually not only very broad-based and practical, but very realistic to today's world. And I got to tell you, Andrew, if you're talking to the US media and you compare what's happening in Kenya to burning all the corn in Illinois, you're going to get somebody to respond to your words. That was fantastic. So you want those points of comparison, Andrew. But I want you to be more optimistic. Give me something solid. And the third point that I want to bring out of those last 6 interviews, this should make it really easy for you. When you're looking at your sheet right now and you're saying, what's my theme? What's that solid theme I want to come back to? What's my baseline? It's a headline. How would you have written the headline for this story? And that's it. And if you write it as a headline, it's going to be objective, interesting, and forward-thinking. Heather, have you had any training up till this point? Did anyone ever give you any guidance on how to maximize the camera?
A little bit.
Okay.
Nothing terribly.
So what in the world can I do to help you today, Randy?
I don't know. I'd like to get better.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I like you already because my second child, my daughter, is a journalism student at Indiana. She's a junior. I love the school so much, so I like you already. Secondly, I'd like to take both of you to lunch because you probably have information that would fascinate me, absolutely fascinate me.
What's happened is that this is the first time that Generation in Charge has been faced with that many people. Are they running into problems where they are hitting one another against?
Hi, Carl. I wanted to get your perspective, which obviously is more global in nature, on our small businesses. Small business has always been the all-American story, but these guys are getting socked left and right due to our economic conditions. What's your perspective on small business in America?
Good for General Motors, good for America, and so and so. But and that sort of 50s thinking about the economy still exists, which I think is, you know, if you look at the innovation economy, where the patent is coming from, the economy of small businesses, and still
The top, okay, try to give me the elevator pitch. Hey, Paul, give me an update on what you're seeing in terms of the potential privatization of Midway Airport. Beautiful. Well, it doesn't matter if it's not true, go to the next person, but because you gave it to me as a good, strong comparative soundbite, it was very memorable and very impactful. But now, you got to go to what your solution was.
Yeah.
And then give a positive example. I don't want you speaking gloom and doom, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to offer that hope so that people want to talk to you again. You want to inspire me to move on to tomorrow. The American economy is based on inspiration.
Fancy, here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, listen to that voice.
Here, my study and also how do I view the U.S. press.
So how do you view the U.S. press?
I think the U.S. press is like...
That's a pretty bad mistake.
Yeah, it's not true.
So Fancy, paint a picture for me. This is the last question. So for all of us around the world who will be watching Beijing this summer, if you could make one point perfectly clear, to quote a former US president, what is that one thing you want all of us to keep in our minds every time we watch the coverage of the Olympics in Beijing? What is the one thing you want us to know about China?
Yeah, I think...
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think this is a big opportunity for Chinese government to show...
Can impact your life today.
How much money are we going to have to spend to get this corruption out of our system?
It's a tough job. They've got the traditional organized crime tools, but they've got to go global with it. And it fits in with the battle against terrorism because some of these guys are selling arms to terrorists. It fits into crimes like mortgage fraud. So it's all part of a new large-scale change.
Master this, you're good. And don't worry about the word, don't worry about the ums. I really don't care if you say That's very natural. It's the I thinks and the basicallys that get to me. And how many teachers make it up? How many teachers have you talked to in the last few weeks? Make up a number. 36. Be precise. Andrea, what's the story all about?
I've talked to 36 teach.
Okay, stop for a minute. How do you know that?
It happened.
How do you personally know that teachers are afraid of their students? Who have you talked to?
There's been video of teachers getting beat up.
Have you covered this? You've been talking to teachers and students? We're off camera now. No, I'm your coach. Pardon me?
Yes.
Hypothetically.
Here we Terry Gowdy. I want to talk to you about what you're seeing with the different generations. So give me a sense of what this story is really all about.
You know, Terry, we're actually facing a time, we're coming out of a time right now where we have all these high school graduates.
I interview hundreds of bosses and hundreds of letters I get from readers all the time, and the one thing I hear is a common refrain, whether it's from the cubicle or to the factory floor, which is, if you drive the boss crazy, you will not get ahead, you will not get big projects, and you will not get a promotion. So the key is to learn ways you will not get big projects and you will not get a promotion. So the key is to learn ways to improve your own performance, and that is a way to get what you want out of your career, and that makes your boss look good and your company look good.
Makes a lot of sense, Anita. Where can we go for more information?
You can either go to my website at www.45things.com or my book, 45 Things You Do That Drive Your Boss Crazy and How to Avoid Them.
Great. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment. That was awesome, Anita. Woo! It's fabulous. I knew you could do it.
And reinforce the garage doors and the windows. That's a big thing.
Yeah, and I guess those are simple, practical steps we can take.
Well, also you should have a hurricane plan because, you know, do you have water, enough water in the house, enough food if you are stuck in the house for prolonged periods of time?
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today,
Thank
Randy.
you very much.
Excellent, Randy. Perfect use of your time. Wonderful. Okay, Susan.